me, Mikhail, back with another review of The Mummy by Alex Kurtzman. This is released by Universal Pictures and Dark Universe. They had a really cool logo in this movie. The movie stars Tom Cruise, it stars Russell Crowe, Jake Johnson. It also stars a girl whose name I don't know, and Sophie... tell me... a girl whose name I don't know at the moment, playing Jenny, and a girl named Sophia Boutella, like Nutella, playing Aminette, the Queen, and the Mummy. So, what's this movie about? This movie is a lot of CGI, and it's a lot of explosions, it's a lot of action. But again, as usual, it's just Tom Cruise bringing us more conspiracy, more Scientology. He's just trying to convert us all to Scientologists again. Just like in Mission Impossible, just like in Mission Impossible 2. So if you watch all the movies, you can see all the signs. They're everywhere. I don't know if you're noticing them, but they're everywhere in these movies. They're always triangles here, lizard people there, signs of science here. And the movie is just it's just another propaganda promotional campaign by our favorite Scientologist, Tom Cruise. Sorry, I've got a phone call here. Hello? Yeah. No, it's Tom again. Yeah, it's just more Scientology. No, he's sleeping with the lizard people again this time. So my review for this movie, I had a good time with this movie. It was, I'd say, a 7.5 out of 10. And I think a lot of people are actually going to go watch this movie. It's promoted well. It's got Tom Cruise in it. Despite what I was saying before, and despite what a lot of people are saying about his personal life, it doesn't bother me. He does action very well, and he's also a pretty good actor. If you've ever seen his more dramatic work in films like Born on the 4th of July, personally, I think his performance in that, he should have gotten an Academy Award. I don't know who the other participants that year were, but it was a very good performance. So we know that he can do different kinds of things in this genre. If you watched The Edge of Tomorrow, one of his more recent installments, you know that he's sort of on a hot streak whenever it comes to these kinds of movies. I saw a preview for his upcoming movie, American Made. I'm not sure that looks like the kind of movie that I would want to go watch. Regardless of that, this movie was enjoyable. It had points in it that weren't very compelling. For instance, the music. I don't know who it was done by, and it was pretty forgettable. It didn't have leitmotifs or motifs or any kind of composition work that was very memorable. Maybe they were going for that, more of the put you in the mood with very jarring and loud moments. But yeah, pretty forgettable score. The CGI, I don't know what the other people think of CGI, but for me, this movie could, like, okay, so the Mummy girl, Sophia Boutella, she played this part really well. I liked her performance. I also liked the makeup as well. My girlfriend was telling me that it was done by MAC. I didn't believe her. I thought it was CGI as well, but it looked really good. Anyway, in this movie, she has parts where she'll attack people, suck the life force out of them, and then they become sort of like a slave, an undead slave kind of follower to her, like a Twitter follower or something. And they all look like they just came out of the Thriller video, the Michael Jackson one from the 80s. So I don't understand why they couldn't have just done the makeup on these people and made them look more contortionist than actual CGI. I get it later on when they have a mass of them attacking Tom Cruise and Jenny, who just follows Tom Cruise everywhere in this movie. I can understand why they would use CGI there, but for the most part I think that a lot of these things could be done with real-life special effects, so I'm giving the CGI on this movie a sort of thumbs down. And I know that seems like I'm putting a double standard to these movies, because for one, I like Pirates of the Caribbean and I don't really mind the CGI there, but then I'm going to be, you know, holding it against this movie. But I just felt like a lot of the composites in this movie could have been done real-time practical effects, so that's sort of a miss for me. Jenny, Tom Cruise's love interest slash resident archaeologist, she is pretty one-dimensional in this movie. Again, I don't know what the girl's name is, but Jenny seems to just be there for the purposes of a female role in the movie. She really didn't add very much. For instance, if you look at a Indiana Jones movie, there's a whole bunch of different sequences that have nothing to do with Indiana Jones's character, and you could say that this movie is sort of a first-person view of the world around them, so everything that you see on the screen has to come through Tom Cruise's view, Nick Morton's view. Having said that, like, it's so much more interesting when you have different segments to films. It just adds a bit more to the scope of the story. It adds more depth. But this movie didn't have that. It did have a lot of action. It had a lot of excitement. There were no twists, there were no plot twists or anything like that. It was just a straightforward, linear drive through an adventure. And that was cool. This is nothing like the Brendan Fraser The Mummy. It's a completely different thing, even though it has jumps from Egypt to England. This movie is more Hollywood trying to give us an independent and new take in a multi-universe that we can all get interested in, which is a monsters universe. I'm imagining that they would have Frankenstein, Frankenstein's bride, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, who did a cameo in this movie through Russell Crowe. His performance was good in this movie. And the Mummy, and then the Set guy, and anyone that you can think of, probably Dracula, and probably the creature from the Black Lagoon. So a whole bunch of stories that we, as a newer generation of millennials, don't really subscribe to because they were more our parents and our parents' parents' time. I won't really get into the plot of this movie. I recommend people to go and watch it. I had a good time. Go and watch it, 7.5. My next review is going to be something else for the lovers of all things kitchen. It's going to be a review of kumquat jam. I've never had this kind of jam before. It smells good, so I'll let you know what it's like in my next review. Thanks. Bye.